Okay, for the last method of the Triphasic Training Peaking Manual, what you have is, I call them oscillatory isometrics, short for, or is the OCI acronym. Basically, this is a metabolic training for for sport peaking method. And the difference here from the previous two videos you've seen is that the limbs are under constant tension on the bands. And essentially one of the really big values of this is that it's a high velocity contraction under under fatigue, because the muscle fatigues very quickly here, and then you have to work with the band to cause a high velocity contraction when you're fatigued. So that actually gets into co-contraction issues with injuries. This is an effective way to train it, and if you want to search my YouTube page for my co-contraction videos, those are pretty informative in that regard. Now the basic three exercises, you've seen them before in the other two videos. We'll go here. So again, this is under constant tension. Now one variable here, it gets really hard depending on body weight, but if you just do one leg, it is a very brutal exercise while you're oscillating those back and forth, again trying to turn the muscles on and off. And now you have the quad. You can see, instead of leaving the band like they did before or snapping back in between, there's a constant tension on the quad here. Very effective exercise, and I'll get into some rehab stuff, really just the sequencing, but this is an excellent exercise for rehabbing a quad. And then this last one is, he actually separated here, but you're trying not to separate. You're under tension. Now the band tension might be too high. I might actually rather have the athlete bend a little bit more bands and do it up here with a little bit of like a little bit of greater degree on the bands here. He's trying, but it's actually sending him off the band. So in that case, I'd probably do a little bit less band tension. And then next slide we got. What this does is it'll actually, these qualities in the tensiomyograph I found can change during the a fatigue state, I should say, and by doing those qualities that you saw there, this can increase the fatigue, resist fatigability, but also keep these qualities intact longer because of the IOC method with the isometrics. Now, just a quick review. You can see oscillatory metrics is a metabolic adaptation. That's what this video is about. Remember, the co-contraction method is a neural adaptation method, and then this one is a tissue method. So those are things to keep in mind. And the last slide, understand, I think I've mentioned peaking enough, but I tell you what, I think in the return to play and rehab area that these concepts should be utilized. And the sequence that it should be done should be, the first block should be the IOC's, oscillatory isometrics, and return to play, because theoretically you want to build the foundation and fitness base here for these other two components. If your muscles specifically in better shape locally, then you will have a greater response to these. And this is actually the way I recommend peaking if you're going to do a 8-week training or a 6-week peaking method with these types of things. So these oscillatory isometrics, yes, they are very effective, especially in the first block of return to play. Then the rebound shock method is the second block in return to play. So remember, you built your foundation of base fitness. Now you're training tissue, and then this trains the neurological system, the co-contraction method, in the last block, which should always be used last, and is a very effective method from circuits to just at the end of the year, a little less volume, but the athletes feel really good when they do it.